There's nothing worse as a mother than not being able to communicate with your child.
When we first found out that Mason was deaf, it was a hard day for me. I wanted to be with my wife and console her, and it's not that it was a terribly bad thing, it was just kind of a hard news to take initially.
When we were first told, I think we were shocked and really sad, kind of devastated a little bit, and for several days kind of grieved about it.
But then I think at the end of the day, I stopped and thought about it, and I thought, wait a minute, that's not so bad. Everything else was healthy, and I thought, okay, so this is just our thing with him that we're gonna have to work on.
For me, the thing that I wanted to know when I first found out is just that it's gonna be okay.
Welcome to the Parent-Infant Program for the Deaf. We provide services to families of children aged birth to 3 who have been diagnosed with a hearing loss. We believe that all deaf and hard of hearing children have the ability to acquire language when given the proper tools and resources. The purpose of this video is to describe the orientation process and communication options that are available to you and your family in Utah. Our mission is to model language intervention strategies which will allow families to become the leaders in their child's educational future.
That was good.
There was one moment where he finally said, "Mom," and I thought, oh my gosh, yes, you did it. It just made me so happy. And
I remember one day seeing him look at the table and he signed table, but then he said, "Maple." And that was the first time that he'd ever said a word with a sign together, and I just saw this light turn on in his eyes. That was so awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud. This is awesome.
I feel really blessed that we can teach our deaf kids to talk, and that's really an amazing thing.
Research shows that with intensive language intervention through the use of American Sign Language, English, or listening and spoken language, that all children with hearing loss can develop language that is commensurate with their age-appropriate peers. In this video, a variety of administrators, teachers, parents, and children will share information as well as some of their experiences that will aid you in making a communication choice that best meets the needs of your child and family. We hope this information will be beneficial to you as you begin your journey.
What do you see?
There's so rusty, it's not like a bad light.
I'm completely amazed with the early intervention, the PIP services. I didn't know it existed for this, and it was so exciting to be getting information and knowing I had so much help.
The first 3 years of a child's life are fascinating. Researchers in early intervention have emphasized that this is a critical period of time when children are developing language and cognition and motor skills. Early experiences and interactions with adults in their lives are very important in order to develop their skills, because this is a critical time when learning is an instinct in these children. Very young children really need a loving and interactive and responsive environment in order to develop all the faculties which they need to reach their full potential. Children who are deaf and hard of hearing often need additional support and help in order to reach all the milestones, the developmental milestones that they need to do.
For children who are deaf and hard of hearing, our emphasis in early childhood is really on developing language. It doesn't matter if it's sign language or spoken language. We want to really emphasize that language through amplification devices, listening and language skills, with constant monitoring. And we do that over the continuum of the developmental stages of our little ones.
The warty old... What? No! A toad! Very good. Here's the toad.
Children who are deaf and hard of hearing, who have access to language from the time that they're born, doesn't matter if it's sign language or if it's spoken language, and have meaningful communicative interactions and linguistic interactions with their families and those they're close to, they develop language that is equal to those of their hearing peers. That's why we're here, is to get that language involved early on.
UTALK provides early intervention for children who are deaf and hard of hearing, ages birth through 3, through the Utah School for the Deaf Parent-Infant Program. The Parent-Infant Program is administered by the State Health Department through Baby Watch. We refer to the Parent-Infant Program as PIP. An emphasis of PIP is helping families become educated about their language and communication needs. We also want parents to become comfortable as they become their child's primary teacher, their primary language model.
Yes, they will.
The family unit, not only the child with hearing loss, is emphasized in early intervention. Once the family has chosen language option that best suits their needs and interests of their child, their participation is the most vital contributor to their child's success. The majority of services by PIP are in the home by a trained language professional. We call these appointments home visits.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about today was speech and how the speech sounds are developed and the age that they happen. So we have, this is the age, these are the sounds. So you can see between 18 months to age 3, children will start to develop their vowels.
During a home visit, an early intervention specialist will provide information to you and your family regarding language development, literacy development, play development, communication development. They'll also help you understand how to read an audiogram, understanding what your options are for amplification devices for your child. It's really a time when you and your family can sit down with the early intervention specialist and learn the things that you need to know about how to raise a deaf or hard of hearing child, and just to enjoy that unique experience that you have.
The thing that I appreciated is, as a planner, is I wanted to know where I was going. What's next? What do we need to be watching out for? What should he be doing? But every once in a while I wanted to see what's next on the horizon.
The Parent-Infant Program for the Deaf offers 2 language options, listening and spoken language, referred to as LSL, and American Sign Language English, known as ASL English. In order to guide you through the journey of making a decision about what option is best for your child and family, you first need to understand the language options and what they mean for your child's future.
The Listening and Spoken Language track, known as LSL, emphasizes learning spoken language through audition. The habitual and constant use of hearing aids or cochlear implants is required. Listening therapy is an essential component of this track. Listening therapy teaches parents and caregivers how to use opportunities all throughout the day to maximize auditory, learning, listening, and speaking. On the listening and spoken language track, it is essential that the child develops critical listening skills and uses spoken language during daily routine. Because an LSL track emphasizes the use of audition to develop spoken language, no sign language is used.
Callan says he sees a bear.
A bear! I like the penguin!
It sure is. Do you see a bear, Phoenix?
The child is immersed in sound so that listening becomes a way of life, whether at home, in the neighborhood, at school, or in the community.
Ashley, what did you do at school today?
I went to the Capitol Theater.
Can you find a dinosaur with a long neck?
Yeah, one. A long neck.
That one has a really long neck, huh? For our family, it was one of those things we don't know anybody else who was deaf. He was the first one, And initially we thought, oh my gosh, our life is going to be turned upside down. What does this mean for him? What does this mean for our family? And what does that mean for extended family as well? I wanted to make sure that he could be independent, and if he wanted to communicate with somebody, he had the ability to do it. He didn't need anybody to help him talk to somebody, and I thought was important to me, and that included talking to our family.
Since he got the implant and started making those first sounds and started communicating orally, it was just really a miracle to see how far the technology has come and what is possible today with the implants.
The American Sign Language English track, known as ASL English, includes the use of American Sign Language, reading and writing, and spoken English. The goal of the ASL English track is to educate the whole child by encouraging them to become bilingual. ASL is used to share thoughts, ideas, emotions, and information regarding the curriculum and the world around them. ASL is a visual language with its own grammatical structure. English is taught through reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Speaking skills, also known as oracy, may include learning how to listen, speak, or lip read. An ASL English track provides full access to communication and language through the use of signing, reading, listening, and speaking.
The cow says what? Yeah, he says moo.
Because ASL and English have different grammatical structures, it's important to clearly separate the languages. There's a variety of ways that this can be done, depending on the needs and interests of your child. It's important to view your child as a whole and create an environment where he or she can grow and develop socially, physically, intellectually, and emotionally.
The ASL English track was best for us because I had had some experience with American Sign Language. I took several college courses with it and really enjoyed it. Had fabulous experiences with signing and the deaf people I came in contact with. So having that good experience just cemented that that was the route we wanted to go. Also, with her particular hearing loss, we did not know, nor do we still know, what the end result is going to be. It's going to be progressive, and we don't know what options are available to her because of the reason for her hearing loss.
ASL English program gives him everything. He has speech therapy, he's improved on his speech using sign language, and he doesn't miss out on any information. It's all there.
There are 12 components of the Parent-Infant Program of the Deaf in Utah. You may choose which components may be best in assisting you to become the leader in your child's language acquisition.
So there's like 4 or 5 different activities we can do. Occasionally, accidentally give her the wrong thing, so she has to protest.
An early intervention language specialist will provide intensive language services in the home in partnership with parents, family, and the early intervention team. Toddler therapy group will be offered for children between the ages of 18 to 36 months, up to 2 days per week in 60 to 90-minute sessions. Children will attend with parental support. Support groups will be created by the USDB EI team based on parent interest. The sessions will be an opportunity for parents to receive support from other parents and professionals. The USDB Early Intervention team will organize a playgroup 8 to 10 times a year that will give children an opportunity to interact with peers to further promote language development. This also allows the entire family to participate in an unstructured parent networking opportunity, inclusive of siblings and extended family. Families are invited to meet with specialists in a home-like setting to provide a model for intensive language intervention strategies applicable to daily routines.
You can read the book with her. Okay. You can point to the...
Parent education sessions provide parent guidance, information, and instruction in regards to hearing loss, language acquisition, play development, speech, and listening. These sessions will be designed by the USDB specialists and parents and will be offered to the parents in the home. As appropriate, these sessions may be held in a center-based setting.
Is Ezra producing the sounds that he should? And if he's not, is it age appropriate?
Specialists participate in professional development activities to support their knowledge and stay current with best practice standards. With this in mind, specialists are required to focus on polishing their coaching and therapy skills relative to either listening and spoken language or ASL English. Deaf mentors will provide ASL instruction individually or in small group sessions. The goal of the Deaf Mentor program is to help the parents become confident ASL users and to be able to communicate with their child.
The Deaf Mentor was great to have someone to come into your home to help your family members and yourself learn sign language and just be able to see that, hey, here is a deaf person that's an adult that is successful and smart, and my child can be that way too.
What we're going to work on today are our body parts for him to learn and to show us and point like face.
An early intervention language specialist will provide intensive language therapy in a center-based clinical setting in partnership with parents as needed to meet language outcomes.
And he needs a hat. Can you put it on? Yay! Good job! All done. Yeah.
Bobby Boo. Shh. Ruin, your hearing aid is working. What should I do with it? Put it in your ear?
Intensive audiological training will be available. This may include topics such as teaching families to perform daily amplification checks, learning about listening milestones, and exploring amplification options. When appropriate, the language specialist will accompany parents to audiological evaluations.
It's critical that children receive that intervention early. And our goal in audiology is to screen children by 1 month of age and then have them identified by 3 months of age and get them amplification by 6 months of age. We know that when children have hearing loss, they are not able to access all the sounds of speech. And so a child will need amplification, hearing aids, or cochlear implants in order to access those speech sounds. With the amplification, the more consistent wear time a child has, the better it is as well. And so it's very important that they wear them all waking hours if possible.
Well, Fiona's doing such a great job. She's making so much progress in her language. That's so exciting. So I just wanted to see if we could maybe update her language assessment today and set some new goals for her.
Okay.
A series of assessments will be completed at the start of each family's journey and updated quarterly. Data will be collected at each session to monitor the language development of each child. This information will be used to determine what services are effective and if any changes are needed. Specialists will monitor overall development in conjunction with the early intervention team, including fine and gross motor skills, sensory integration, physical development, cognitive abilities, as well as other common early childhood developmental milestones. Specialists will make a referral to the team for a physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech and language pathologist, or other provider when appropriate.
Finished.
Many families are curious about what's in store for their child's educational future. Before you know it, it will be time for classrooms, backpacks, and recess. Preschoolers, elementary, and secondary students will give you a glimpse of their school day routines.
Where did you go today?
Museum.
Was it fun?
Yeah. There was a helicopter there.
You saw a helicopter at the museum?
Yeah.
Was it a big helicopter or a little helicopter?
Really big.
Big? What color was it?
Red, blue, red, and white.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the biggest factor was Johnny and how excited he was with the ASL and how he took to it so quickly. It was his whole world opened up. He was able to communicate and able to talk to us, which he wasn't able to do before.
The benefits of the ASL English program, there are several of them, but three that I've thought about that I find really impact the students. The first is open communication, and I've had students who have come in and this is their first experience with American Sign Language, and to watch just their eyes light up after they realize that they understand what's going on. Another one I have thought about is academics. Our focus here is really strictly on curriculum, language and curriculum. Another is the identity of self, who they are, the idea that they're proud of who they are. And with that comes a whole community of support with deaf adults in the deaf community.
What is your favorite color?
Purple, blue, and gray.
Purple, blue, and gray. Zeke, what do you wear on your ears?
Lanterns.
And what do they do?
So I can hear.
So you can hear. Do you like to hear? Zeke goes to USDB's preschool, the listening and spoken language, and he is doing really, really well. He is actually caught up with his peers, and so he can attend a normal preschool starting in the fall.
So Zeke was implanted at 14 months, and it was really exciting to see that he could actually, hear our voice for the first time. It was really cool.
The main difference between a typical classroom and Utah School for the Deaf listening and spoken language classroom is that we have very small classes, and we have a team of professionals, audiologists, therapists, teachers, and parents that work with the kids on focusing almost solely on language, speech, and listening development. Every activity and routine that we come up with here in the preschool revolves around developing listening, language, and speech skills. Sometimes the kids come in here with little or no language, and it's fun to see how they progress. One of the big benefits of having children go through the listening and spoken language program is that they develop the language and skills that they need to be able to go out and be in a mainstream classroom and socialize and communicate with typically developing peers, their families, and adults.
At the deaf school, I like to learn math. And in English, we are learning about nouns, verbs, and adjectives. I like the public school too. I had a lot of friends there who knew some sign.
We chose ASL English because we wanted Evan to have the best of both languages. The ASL English program gives him everything. He has speech therapy, he's improved on his speech using sign language, and he doesn't miss out on any information. It's all there.
I'm involved with the ASL English program. The benefits of the program are the ability to understand 2 languages, the opportunity to immerse into American Sign Language, creating a visual language foundation, creating connections with the mind images into expressive sign language, Along with American Sign Language, you make connections into the English print, words and sentences as you read and write. My classroom is different for sure. There's more interaction, more conversation with each other and the students. We also use technology a lot so the students feel comfortable and confident, and they don't have to continue to ask for help, but they have the confidence to do it themselves.
So let's practice saying that. I'm waiting for Abby.
Our daughter has been involved with USDB's Listening and Spoken Language program, and the best part was that the teachers showed us things that we could do at home. All these therapeutic interventions truly just became part of what we naturally do with our daughter now, and it was great. Our daughter is now 6 years old. She's mainstreamed into our neighborhood school in first grade. She is doing really, really well.
Where I see more of almost an aha moment, I would call it, and when I see that is when I have a student who's hard of hearing read a chapter book. They can also follow along with the whole group novel that we read, and they can answer questions about that. They feel like if they can get through a chapter book and they can understand it, that they've actually accomplished something.
Don't worry, Jean. I can teach a few classes.
With deaf and hard of hearing kids, language is such a key to the development of their brain that the more connections we can make through language makes literacy stronger. The earlier and the better we can get sound and language to their brain, the sooner they won't need our support. The access that these kids have with the new technology to the sounds in their environment, to speech sounds, is amazing. That's the key to their listening and spoken language development. I work with the 5th and 6th grade students, and with this age level, we're still working on language development and literacy, but now the core content is so much more challenging.
Again? Priory Woodbury, I love that company. How fun.
For deaf children, it is easier for them to acquire a visual language first and then transfer that knowledge that they have into their second language to learn to read and write and understand the English print and the world around them better.
I think ASL is the best. It's clear, it's visual, I like it. I love being deaf. I think it's the best thing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. My parents learned sign when I was a baby. When they found out I was deaf, they thought it was just fine. They learned sign from books and took some classes. I grew up with signed English, then in middle school I started learning ASL.
I've had 3 deaf kids in my class. They were in my writing class first semester, and now they're in my world literature class. And I think it's been a great experience for all of us. Okay, for our deaf students, for our non-deaf students, and for me. The students participate in class just like they were any other student, and when they have something to say, they sign it to the interpreter, and the interpreter then announces it to the class, and they're really just like any other student.
In my school, I'm involved in a play called Oliver Twist, and it's really fun because I get to run around and do all sorts of little stuff. My favorite class in school is art. I can be as creative as I want to be, and I also like the math class because we get to learn new formulas and different ways of seeing things.
You know, I really think that parents should realize that they are the ultimate experts. We have all these experts around us that are helping us. There's information online, there's information all over the place that we can consume, but ultimately we're the ones that are with our children all week long, all night long, all day long. None of the experts are able to do that.
An example of that would be when we would go to our speech therapies, the therapist would teach us what we needed to do to help the child perform better or to achieve a milestone so we could apply it to our everyday routines.
We hope viewing this video has provided you with hope and a vision for your child's future.
I think for me, probably the thing that really makes me feel like we're doing okay, you know, is just seeing the kids and the progress that they make.
If I could share something with another parent when they find out their child's deaf that helped me, is just to have faith, to know that you're entrusted with this beautiful child.
When she was about 5 months old, for about an hour, she had been hitting her chin, doing this, and it took me a while to realize what she was doing, but she was signing mom. It just thrilled me about her capabilities and that she was doing that so quickly, and very rewarding for me as a mom to have her asking for me that way.
I would tell a new parent to trust their instincts, that as a parent, you know what's best for your kid.
Don't give up. Stay strong. Follow your path, and follow your child's lead.
When we come to school and we see Johnny and Eliza with their peers and with their friends and interacting with them, you know, it makes me feel like we didn't do so bad after all, that they're doing okay.
The most important thing you could teach them is to be confident in who they are. If you're proud of it and you're proud that they're deaf and you're proud they have their listeners on it that they sign, they're gonna feel that way.
And trust yourself to make the right decision and take your time to figure out what that is for your own child.
That's right, that's what she said.
You need to do what's right for your child because you are the only one who can fight for them.